Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to The Final Score with
Matthew
and
Stevie Fly. What's up, guys? The Final Score back here again tonight. We are recording July 24th, 2025, a Thursday night. Gosh, I'm getting my nights mixed. This has been a rough week, dude. This has been a rough week for my childhood and everybody in my age group's childhood. But we'll talk about that in just a second. With us tonight, and we haven't done a show together in a while. We had our own show there for a while. It's on a 2-year hiatus for right now, Kyle.
Yeah.
Just another sports podcast. My broadcast partners are there. Kyle from the Grange Barber. What's up, dude?
What's going on, Stevie? Yeah, if you ever checked out just another sports podcast on the Sports Objective Podcasting Network, me and Stevie did several episodes about 2 years ago. Stevie's joining us now for our football coverage, kind of doing a trial run now, and it'll be full time, really starting in August on the Sports Objective. So go follow the Sports Objective on Facebook if you haven't. If you need more Stevie Fly. And also, well, I'm not going to go ahead. I'm about to introduce your guest, Stevie. Go ahead. You. I'm gonna pitch it back over to Stevie. Let you introduce this. Let you introduce your own guest.
So with us tonight is and I'm still in my probationary period, by the way, on the Sports Objective. So I could get kicked off any minute and have to go to another sports page.
You might have to go hooked on Pirates.
I got you. But with us tonight, he is also a member of the Sports Objective podcast football team and a little bit of the other athletic team and former ECU Pirate linebacker. With us tonight is Mr. Matt Semenza. What's up, buddy?
What's up, fellas? Stevie, this has been a long time in the making, man. We've been talking about this. I mean, we've been talking about this for a good year or so, right? Just haven't been able to make it happen for whatever reason. But yeah, man, looking forward to it. A lot to talk about. Anytime I can connect with you and obviously Kyle. You know, Kyle is one of my favorite people for sure. So wishing Kyle obviously all the luck tomorrow with his surgery, and nothing's off limits tonight, fellas. Let's have a good show.
Nothing is off limits tonight. You heard that straight out of his mouth. Kyle is like I said, we're recording on July 24th. Kyle's getting ready to go in for some surgery tomorrow. Going to be a breeze. It's going to be fine. By the time you see this, Kyle will probably be back on the air talking trash about some kind of move somebody from ECU has made or not made. So, ain't that right, Kyle?
I hope so. And Matt says nothing's off limits tonight. So, we'll start off with Matt. How big is your penis?
Oh, jeez, man. Wow.
We went through explicit.
Well, you said nothing's off limits.
In the podcast sense. In the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Sense.
All right.
There goes the PG-13 rating and the R rating.
I use the correct term that is in medical textbooks.
You're right.
You kept it PG.
I did.
So before we get into Matt's to the interview with Matt, this has been a rough week for, like I said, for our childhood here. First of all, Monday, Malcolm Jamal Warner from the Cosby Show drowns over in Costa Rica, and you think, gosh knows, this is horrible here, and it was horrible. Then the next day, rock and roll legend Ozzy Osbourne passes away at the age of 76 after a long battle with Parkinson's disease. And today, wrestling icon, the immortal Hulk Hogan, passes away at the age of 71 from cardiac arrest. It's just been one thing after another this week. It comes in threes, but there was another one that passed away today. I'm not sure a lot of people are familiar with Chuck Mangione. He was a Grammy Award winning music artist from the 70s. I knew his song because I heard it on the radio. I'm a lot older than these guys.
Chuck Mangione. What movie was he referenced in? As soon as I hear Chuck Mangione,
I can't remember what movie it was. I know he was. The song was on.
Okay, Jessica said he was on an episode of King of the Hill. Maybe that's what I'm remembering it from.
The song that he's most famous for, I think it was "Feel So Good." It was an episode of Friends. He was Joey sang lyrics to it over and over again. That was the only thing I knew as far as recent stuff. But maybe it was on King of the Hill. I'm sure Jessica knows. Jessica is one of the masters of useless information, like me and Kyle are. So
She just has a great memory for things.
well, I know we do too, but it's a lot of useless stuff. I mean, that we throw it out there to the audience
Yeah.
every once in a while.
So, of those three, Matt, Stevie, who is? I mean, which one affected y'all the most? I mean, or which one, like of those three, had a bigger impact on your life? Obviously, for me, it would be Hulk Hogan. Being a huge wrestling fan, I was never a big Hogan fan, but you can't deny the iconic moments. The feud with Andre leading up to WrestleMania 3. Everybody talks about his slamming Andre. To me, that was what it was. To me, I remember the feud when Andre turned on Hogan on Piper's Pit, and that was classic stuff. And the stuff with Mr. T, WrestleMania 1, the lead up to WrestleMania 1, where he was on the Stevie, what's the talk show Hogan was on where he put the
Richard Belzer.
on the Belzer show, in the 80s.
The guy that was on Law and Order.
Yeah, he put Belzer in the sleeper hold, and Belzer passed out and hit his head, and of course WWF got sued. And then obviously other iconic moments, Hogan Warrior, Hogan Macho Man with the Mega Powers collide. Yeah, Mega Powers explode, and then the NWO when Hogan turned heel was one of the most iconic moments in wrestling history. Hogan turning heel with the NWO, and second for me would be Theo. I was Michael Jamal Warner, huge Cosby Show fan, and felt like I grew up with Theo. I watched the Cosby Show. God, in the late '80s, early '90s, it was on in rerun. Plus, still first run episodes were still coming on, so I would watch it every day, and just identified with Theo so much growing up. And then, of course, Ozzy is a rock and roll legend. But anyway, yeah. Matt, what about you? I'm assuming probably for you, Hogan.
Yeah, so I was traveling this morning. I was at an early flight, and when the plane landed, you know how you get pop-ups, you get alerts to your phone, and I got the alert. For a second, I had to do a double take. I was really surprised. Now I had heard reports that Hogan was having some serious health issues, but I also saw him on he was a prominent guest speaker at the Republican convention on TV, not even 8 months ago. I mean, he looked pretty healthy. So whatever happened must have escalated pretty quick with Hogan. And, look, if you grew up in the 80s, as I think you guys, Stevie, I'm guessing you're a kid of the 80s too. I mean, Hogan was as big of an icon as there was at that time. And, like a true icon in this country. And you think about Rocky III, Thunder Lips. I mean, he was awesome. In the flesh, babe. I mean, how great was he in that movie? I mean, he looked. Now, Sylvester Stallone is a really short guy. I think he's about 5'6", but Hogan just looked humongous in that movie. He looked like he was about 8 feet tall, and he was great. And then, I just remember that, and I just remember in the 80s, WWF wrestling on Saturday mornings was a huge thing, and watching Hogan and all the way up through the New World Order when he turned heel. I mean, he was great, as Hollywood Hogan. So, that one definitely hit me pretty hard. You just hate to see those icons, pass away like that.
Yeah, for me, I guess Ozzy was. Yeah, I'm the elder statesman here, so I was born in '73. Matt, I don't know what year you were born. What year were you born?
76.
Okay, so, but Ozzy, I became a big fan of Ozzy in '85, and I mean, I'm like Kyle. I was a big wrestling fan. Wasn't a huge Hogan fan, but I did appreciate for what he did for wrestling because he launched it big time mainstream. But Ozzy, that hit me in the gut. I mean, it shouldn't have been a shock, but it was. I mean, you saw the last performance he did. He was in pretty rough shape, but man, when he got in front of that audience, he was trying his best to be the old Ozzy. Theo was kind of like, you hate to downplay any of these guys passing away because all of them are tragic, but Theo was probably third. I was like Kyle. I watched the Cosby Show.
Yeah, but we had this conversation like unrelated months ago.
Yeah,
you weren't as big of a Cosby Show fan as I was.
no, not as big. I mean, I did watch it. I know the classic Cosby Show episodes, the Juicer.
With Malcolm Jamal Warner, you got to immediately think of the Gordon Gartrell episode.
Gartrell shirt, yeah.
Yeah.
That one, and with him, that Gordon Gartrell, then the one where Bill Cosby's up there with the Monopoly money, explaining real life to him.
That's the
iconic line. I brought you into this world, and I'll take you out.
That's the pilot. That was the very first episode.
Yeah. So that one, and then I think another one was when they did the court. Then they acted like they were taking him to court.
No, you're thinking of Real World Apartments.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, where they did the fake apartments. That's another great Theo episode. Another one's where him and Cockroach get thrown off the suspended from the basketball team.
What kind of hamburger was that?
A circus burger.
Circus burger, yeah.
Yeah, they were making jokes about the girl behind the counter at the circus burger. Yeah. That's another iconic one. But anyway, yeah. So it's enough to talk about Jamal Warner, Theo. R.I.P. to him and Hogan and Ozzy.
But yeah, it's been a rough week for our childhood. And you get to this age now, guys, and I've said it for the last couple of years. You start getting to this age, and the guys that you grew up idolizing and watching on TV start passing away, and you're like, God, I'm getting old. And I mean, it starts to hit home.
With wrestling, we have already lost so many. Piper, Dusty, Terry Funk, even guys younger than that, like Eddie Guerrero. But so with wrestling, you've been through it so much. But Hogan had been more in the limelight over the last year than he had in a while because, he did the appearance on Raw, which was an absolute disaster back in January.
Yeah.
And then he launched Real American Beer. He launched his second Hulk Hogan store just recently in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. He was trying to buy Hooters. Hooters filed for bankruptcy. Hogan was trying to buy it. He had been very public here recently, so it's insane. In fact, Matt, he did a meet and greet not long ago up your way, somewhere in New York. It was multiple stops in New York at some grocery store chain the Northeast that was distributing Real American Beer because the meet and greets didn't go right, and a lot of people were mad, so that made news. And of course, he was at the RNC, the Republican National Convention, back almost a year ago now, and
he looked great. I mean, he
did. I don't know what happened, but I think he had surgery, then had complications after surgery, and all went downhill from there, which gives me even more confidence in tomorrow. But
I will tell you that what I hear is they messed up the trach. They did something up here to his trach, and I'm gonna tell you, if this picture that I'm looking at right now is real, the last picture they said of him, he looks really rough.
They have to have a tracheotomy?
They did. All I've heard, Kyle, is something went wrong here. And you remember they said on the Bubba Love Show that he couldn't talk.
Yeah.
And that was why. They did something there. But, man, he looks skinny. I don't even want to share it up here because I'm scared it's not real.
Right.
But he's very skinny. His face just looks hollow. He's got the goatee and he's got the bandana on his head and stuff like. But he just looks.
Is it actually a picture of Randy Hogan?
No, it's not Randy Hogan. It's not Randy Hogan and Gilbert. But he's he's looking rough in this picture. I hate it. I mean, his eyes are bloodshot. I can't believe the one thing that makes me think it might not be real is how bad it looks if somebody would put it up here. Somebody that took the picture of him there, because it's in a house. It looks like it's at his house.
Have you ever seen pictures? And Matt, we promise we're going to get to your career.
Yeah, this is going to be.
It's all good, man.
Have y'all ever seen pictures of Patrick Swayze right before he passed?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's insane. He looks like an 85-year-old man. It's sad. Pancreatic cancer is brutal.
Swayze was the man. We were talking about this recently, Kyle. I mean, you talk about
love Patrick Swayze.
You talk about a guy who put together some incredible movies, and he was a great actor, but he was also kind of a tough guy. I mean, the first one you think about Roadhouse, right? You think about
Roadhouse,
The Outsiders. Stevie
Red
was just
Dawn.
talking about that one. Red Dawn.
Yeah.
Next of Kin.
Next of Kin.
Liam Neeson.
I mean,
Next
he was
extremely underrated. Extremely underrated. I'm like you. I love Roadhouse. That'd be my favorite. Red Dawn's another great one. But Next of Kin, with him and Liam Neeson and Helen Hunt.
Was Bill Paxton in that?
He may have been. Yeah, that's a great movie. And it shows you what happens when a bunch of rednecks take on a bunch of Italians from the Northeast. What's going to happen? Actually, it was hillbillies. It was hillbillies. Yeah. Actually, it was a bunch of hillbillies from Appalachian Mountains taking on the Italian mafia from Chicago, actually.
Yeah.
But great movie. If you've never seen Next to Kin, take your time to watch it. That's a fantastic movie. Another underrated Patrick Swayze movie was Fatherhood. Have either of you seen that?
I've watched it one time when I was a kid, but I have not watched it enough.
You were a kid?
Yeah.
Movie came out like 95.
Oh, never mind that. Well, I was a kid. I consider that a kid, man. That's been half my life ago.
Yeah, well, okay. You were 22, but
Bill Paxton was in it.
Okay.
Ghost was
Fatherhood,
a great movie
Matt?
too. You ever seen the movie Ghost? That was a really good one.
Yeah.
Swayze.
Yeah, I took a date to see that movie. That was.
And then they made Pottery afterwards.
Whoa!
Made a little pottery with Demi Moore. Hey, look, Demi Moore and pottery is never a bad thing.
But the sick thing, the sick thing.
Whoopee!
Whee! The sick thing is the end part where he goes into Whoopi Goldberg's body, and you think about Whoopi Goldberg.
Anytime you go into Whoopi Goldberg's body, that's the sick part right there.
Yeah, I felt sorry for him when he had to do that, but
there's no doubt he was exhausted after he came back out of that.
I wouldn't be exhausted I wouldn't be exhausted if I went into Whoopi Goldberg's body. That's one thing I wouldn't be exhausted at all. I'd be throwing up. Good Lord.
Ask Ted Danson about that.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. They were married.
Wow. You talk about an odd couple.
People talk about how odd it was when Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie got married. Why nobody talks about Whoopi Goldberg and Ted Danson? God, no. I was like, this guy's like the stud on Cheers. I mean, he gets all the women, and here he is with
Whoopi Goldberg's one of the ugliest women in the history of the world.
And a reprehensible person, like just a horrible person. Absolutely horrible person in every sense of the word. So I have no love for Whoopi Goldberg and her show The View, which is just the trashiest show on TV. But
look,
I won't go down that road. I'll spare you guys my opinions on The View.
I'll tell you the story. My uncle, he's legally blind, and my aunt, he's 85 years old. He was at my mom's house the other night, and he said, your Aunt Joan set me up the other night. And I said, what are you talking about? Or the other day. I said, what are you talking about? She said, well, she had to leave the house, and she always leaves the TV on something when she leaves. And damn if she didn't leave the TV on The View, and I couldn't change the channel. I was like, damn, I'd have to freaking cut my ears off or something. But
something.
I think that has more to do with him being 85 than legally blind.
What?
Him not being able to change the channel probably has more with him doing.
What I'm saying is he's, I don't know, Kyle. He's legally blind. That's why he could change the channel.
Okay. All right.
You can change the channel, though, can't you?
Most of the time, yeah. Sometimes I have to get Jessica to do it for me, but most of the time I can change it. Yeah, most of the time. Yeah.
So let's get to what we're here to talk about tonight, and that is Mr. Matt Semenza down here. ECU linebacker from 94 to 97. But first, before we get into that, and I promise we are going to talk about ECU football here, the class of 2025 Hall of Fame inductees came out this week, and man, what a class it is.
Mm-hmm.
3 guys up here that were legendary ECU Pirates, one that went on to have a stellar NFL career, talking about Dwayne Harris, and then you've got quarterback Shane Carden, and then probably a wide receiver that he's still doing it in the CFL right now, and probably could have, in my opinion, if he'd have got the chance with the right team, he could have been a good NFL wide receiver. Justin Hardy. What do you guys think about? I mean, I think this is a stellar class, of course. I'm sure you guys think the same. What do you guys think about this Hall of Fame class?
Amazing class,
I love
man. You go ahead, Kyle. Go ahead. Do we lose Kyle?
Kyle.
Yeah, your audio's cutting in and out on me. Yeah, so y'all want me to go first?
Yeah,
go ahead, man.
Okay. My thoughts on the class. You left out, to me, the biggest name on the list, Terry Holland.
Yeah, my bad.
Terry Holland is somebody that, in a lot of ways, in my opinion, saved ECU athletics. We were heading down a bad path and had a lot of turmoil, and Terry came in, hired Skip Holtz, really had a vision, the kind of vision we haven't had at ECU since. His goal was to get us in the Big East, and he did that. Unfortunately, it was at the end of the Big East, and it became the American. But, at that time, ECU had a lot of momentum, and Terry Holland was just a tremendous leader and one of the greatest communicators of anybody I've ever dealt with in my life. I was nobody at the time. Not that I'm anybody important now, but at least people know who I am. But, I was in my 20s and 30s at that time, and wasn't part of the sports objective. Just some guy that loved ECU and donated to the Pirate Club. And he would answer every email I ever sent him. Me and him would email, almost weekly. And Holland was just such a great communicator, valued everybody's opinion, and it's the definition of what an athletic director should be. And, of course, what a great coaching career at UVA, but we're going to talk about his contributions to East Carolina. I think you look at Justin Hardy, set the NCAA receiving record here, was a walk-on. Of course, played for the Atlanta Falcons, and then now a long career in the CFL. And then Dwayne Harris. Dwayne Big Play Harris. Dwayne Harris is one of the best football players at the college level I've ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. Whether it be at wide receiver, kickoff return, punt return, occasionally at running back. He could play quarterback. Just always gave 100% every single game. Loved Dwayne Harris. Number 17 should be retired at ECU, in my opinion. Love Dwayne Harris. And then Shane Carden. Shane never really got a chance to do anything at the next level. He's coaching high school football now. At least he was last I heard out in Idaho. Shane Carden was an incredible college quarterback, fit perfectly in Lincoln Riley's system. Loved ECU. You think of the iconic moments of beating North Carolina in 13 and then again in 14, beating NC State, beating Virginia Tech. You think of him flexing his muscle with the East Carolina State of Mind tattoo on it. Shane Carden had so many great plays at quarterback at ECU, and how many of those passes went to Justin Hardy? Yeah. I mean, so great class, tremendous class. Matt, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you said it well. And first of all, when I think of Hall of Fame, for me, when you're thinking about who gets into a Hall of Fame, really, you shouldn't have to think about it, right? Like when that name comes at you, it should be like, yep, that's a Hall of Famer. You think about the NBA, like there's certain names, right? Like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. You don't even have to think about it. Those are Hall of Fame guys. And as it relates to East Carolina, I love this class because when you think about Justin Hardy, you think about Dwayne Harris and Shane Carden. Like you don't have to think about it. Those are Hall of Famers here at East Carolina without question. All great players. Dwayne Harris, I'll start with him. I think he's probably my favorite player I've seen come through ECU. And like you mentioned, Kyle, he could do it all. He was a Swiss Army knife, but he was just tough as nails. And you could not get him down. There were so many times where it looked like he was going to be tackled for a loss. And, he just had a way of breaking tackles and just making plays, like unbelievable plays. And, he did it in all different ways. Like you said, from the running back position. I remember him playing a little quarterback down at Virginia Tech. I think that was his freshman year. Phenomenal player. And then, Justin Hardy, Steve, you said it perfectly. Like if he got drafted to another team besides Atlanta, I think he would have had a phenomenal NFL career. He's still doing it up in Canada. Yeah. I mean, I'm amazed. I see his videos come up all the time. And he is still a tremendous player, making plays up in Canada and, all-time NCAA leader in receptions when he left here. And again, another guy you don't even have to think about. And then Carden, obviously, what can you say about him? I mean, he's the type of guy you want at quarterback. He's tough. He's got energy. He's a gunslinger. He's not afraid to push the ball down the field, and a great leader. And you just think about how many big wins that he had here as quarterback. So great class. I have nothing, there's no criticism at all. Like there's no way you can knock any one of those picks at all. So I think really well done by the committee to get that right.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sorry I left Coach Holland out on that list. I was looking at my graphic up here where they had the football players. My bad, Kyle. My bad.
No, you're good. I love Terry Holland. And
yeah,
if you guys want, you search the archives on YouTube. There's an interview me and Bubba Rosenbaum did. It was a show called The Coach's Kid with Terry Holland's daughter, which is I think one of the best things I ever did in terms of just a personal interview for me. It's a great listen. If you love Terry Holland, his daughter goes into great details about his life and what kind of man he was, and how he loved his players at UVA, and how he would buy arcade machines and keep them in the basement, so the UVA basketball players would come hang out at the house instead of going out and doing other things. So he was a really cool guy. But I do want to say this real fast, and Matt, I think you had a point you wanted to make about Hall of Fame. You talk about Justin Hardy. I'm about to say Jeff Hardy. You talk about Justin Hardy's career in the CFL. That is a project for somebody. Maybe it'll be us to really make a comprehensive history of East Carolina's history in the CFL. We have a storied history of the CFL going all the way back to Gizmo Williams.
Henry Williams. Yep.
Henry Williams, who was a legend in the CFL. Marcus Crandall is a legend in the CFL. We had I can't think of his name right now. Somebody maybe Matt, Stevie, one of you two. There was a
I know
former
the
ECU player who was a head coach in the CFL at one point.
I'm not thinking about the same ones you are then.
No, we have an unbelievable legacy being in East Carolina with the CFL. Like I don't think people even realize. It may be like 100 players deep in terms of quality CFL careers. Terry Gallagher, who's helped out with our show, Matt, the Sports Objective, Terry.
Yeah.
He played in the CFL.
Really?
He did. Very briefly, had a cup of coffee. So it was the legacy with CFL in East Carolina is really something that needs a comprehensive, like, I don't know if documentary would be the right term, but that's something that during the off season, maybe next off season, be fun to kind of put something together.
Yeah.
The current ECU players, and I don't know how. Let me see when this.
These is current roster ECU players in the CFL
as of May 8th. Let's see. We got Jeremy Lewis plays for the BC Lions. Ryan Jones for the Calgary Stampeders. Stanley Bryant for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, not Blombers. Hamilton Tiger Cats. Defensive back Deshaun Amos.
Mm-hmm.
The Argonauts, Hampton Ergel and Justin Red, 2 offensive linemen.
Yep,
And then
Hampton Ergel was good.
Ottawa Red Blacks, Justin Hardy, and then the Montreal Alouettes wide receiver Tyler Snead.
That is just currently in the CFL. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
What was there was a guy that played quarterback, and I can see him right now. He just retired.
Dominic Davis.
Yes.
Dominic Davis, yep.
Yeah.
He was a legend in the CFL as well.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. I mean, it like I say, the what was his name? It was a cornerback here from up around the Outer Banks. He had a great career. He had a great career in the CFL. Manuel Davis.
Yeah.
Yep. He had a great career in the CFL. Like I said, it goes in terms of players who played in the CFL. I think you're gonna you from East Carolina. I think you're gonna hit 100, if not more.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, we'll have to. That'll be a project we have to do this offseason, Kyle. Maybe the return of the just another sports podcast,
and we'll just feature CFL, former ECU CFL.
We'll see if we can get some former CFL Pirates.
Yeah, and there was one. Look up. Well, we'll say this for another time. We need to get to Matt. I was about to say look up the former ECU player that was the head coach in the CFL. But
this is probably way more.
We need to.
No.
Hey, really quick, I just want to make a point though on the Hall of Fame, and
go ahead, Matt.
This is a plug for one of my coaches who I really believe should be in the Hall of Fame, and didn't happen this year, but hopefully in future years, and that's Jeff Connors. In my opinion, I really, just being part of that program in the mid '90s, he's somebody in my opinion that should be a no-brainer in the ECU Hall of Fame, and it's not really typical for a strength and conditioning coach to be in the Hall of Fame. You don't see that happen a lot, but when you look at his impact here, I think it's kind of unique. He was given a lot of power, within the program, and I think a lot of people don't realize, like, as a player, you spend more time with your strength and conditioning coach than any other coach. You're with them the entire off season through the winter. You're in the weight room, you're training outside. I mean, you spend a tremendous amount of time with your strength and conditioning coach. And I don't think those teams in the 90s would have been as successful without him. I think you had Steve Logan, obviously the head coach. I think, him and Coach Connors worked really well together. That was a great tandem. And I don't think the program would have been successful without one of those guys. I think they made each other better. So huge impact on the program. And I really believe he's somebody that, should be considered here in future years. And I hope he gets in. I think if you ask anybody that was around the program during that time, they would tell you he had a big impact on ECU.
Definitely. When you talk to a lot of these, and I've interviewed quite a few former Pirates, and that was one guy that they've mentioned a lot that had a turnaround, that really affected them as far as their play. And like you said, the strength coach is with you all off season and gets you ready. And Connors, not just by players, but by fans. I've heard, and I mean, for a strength coach to be mentioned by fans, because I remember the first time I heard him, my cousin, who was a diehard ECU fan, he said, "I'm gonna tell you, makes the biggest difference with that program." And I think he leave for a little while and came back, right?
Yeah.
So he said when Connors came back, he said that's going to be the biggest difference of anything with that program. He said Connors is going to get them guys in shape and get them ready.
Yeah, Connors left, went to North Carolina, unfortunately, which is why some Pirate fans, still hold something against him. I love Jeff Connors for everything he did at ECU in the 90s. He had our teams always ready to go. My only problem with Jeff Connors was some of the comments he made about Ruffin. Ruffin brought him back, and then he threw Ruffin under the bus a little bit, and then he turned out he didn't like Scotty much better. That's the only thing I have against Jeff Connors. I wish he wouldn't have thrown Ruffin under the bus like he did. But Ruffin was, or God Almighty, Jeff Connors was always really good to us on the Sports
Cornbread.
Objective. Yeah, Jeff Connors was always really good to us on the Sports Objective podcast. He had a show on our network for a while. Bubba produced it. Anytime we wanted Jeff Connors to do anything, he's always done it for us. So respect Jeff Connors as a man, and definitely respect everything he did for guys like Matt and the rest of those football teams in the '90s. Matt, you can speak to this, man. We were a fourth quarter team back when you played there, and the whole time in the '90s, going all the way back to the Peach Bowl through the late '90s. Beating teams like Miami in '99. We were a fourth quarter team, and that was largely due to Jeff Connors. The other teams would be gassed, and you guys would still be ready to go.
Oh, no doubt. And that was something he talked about all year round. I mean, he talked about that in the middle of the summer when we were training outside in that heat, that Eastern North Carolina heat, and running 110s. And he would talk about the fourth quarter all the time. I mean, that was something that wasn't just like some talking point you hear about in the media. Like, that was a real thing that he talked about all the time. And that team embraced it. That team really embraced it, and they really followed his lead in that regard. And, he really just did a good job kind of hammering that point home. And, like I said, so many big wins during that time in the fourth quarter. That team was always in condition. They were always prepared. And I think that's largely a part of Jeff Connors. So, not to beat a dead horse, but I really do hope that he is considered for the Hall of Fame, because I think he really deserves it.
Definitely. So, Kyle, what do you say we get into talking about some Matt Semenza for a little while?
No, I mean, he is the guest on the show, so it's probably a good idea.
Probably a good idea if we get to it. After 30 minutes of talking about everything else. So Matt,
are we going to talk movies? We're going to talk
talk Matt Semenza. We're going to talk some movies. We'll talk
movies later.
By the way, the answer to the question of the former ECU player, he was the head coach of the BC Lions, Devon Claybrooks.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a good one. Yeah. He did have a very I think he's a coach there too, right? I think he
was the head coach of the BC. He was the head coach of the BC Lions.
He was the head coach. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
All right. There you go.
I didn't hear you say, "Hey Siri." I didn't hear you say that.
No, I googled
Jessica looked it up. Oh, I was going to say, did Jessica look it up for you?
No, I googled it.
All right. So Matt Semenza, little Matt, growing up in Hazlitt, New Jersey, like you said, H-Town. So growing up, who was your team, and what was one of your favorite players? Were you a bit? I'm sure you were a big football fan. Who was the team you pulled for, and who was the player that you always looked to?
So the New York Giants were always my team, as a kid. And look, it's an easy one. Lawrence Taylor. I mean, during that time, you had LT, the greatest defensive player of all time. So there was nobody better to watch. And, you think about like that era. Again, we're going back to the 80s here, but that was like the Bill Parcells era. That was LT. Bill Belichick was the defensive coordinator at that time. Phil Simms was the quarterback. I'll throw a name at you that you might remember, you might not. The running back was Joe Morris from.
Oh yeah, Little Joe.
Little Joe from Michigan.
I'll throw a name at you, a guy that I liked on that team, on that defense, that a lot of people don't talk about. But he made one of the hardest hits I've ever seen in a football game. Gary Reasons.
Oh, Gary Reasons, man, number 55. He was a beast.
Bobby Humphrey, the rookie he was a rookie with the Broncos, running back. He hit Bobby Humphrey going up over the pile so hard. There's a picture of it. Bobby Humphrey's mouthpiece is getting launched up in the air, straight up in the air. Gary Reasons, I mean, I've tried to get in touch with him to get him on the show, because I just respect him. He was a big part of that Giants defense that doesn't get talked about a lot. You talk about Carl Banks, you talk about LT, you talk about Jim Burt.
Leonard Marshall, Harry.
Oh,
Carson.
yeah.
I mean,
Leonard Marshall made one of the best hits I've ever seen, because I was so sick and tired of the 49ers. And when Joe Montana in that NFC Championship game stopped and Leonard Marshall just planted him from behind. And when they said, Montana's down, I was like, yes.
Oh, yeah. That was a great moment. That was definitely great, and that was an awesome hit. But yeah, I mean, you think about those teams, and so I was always a Giants fan, and but more than anything, I'm a Knicks fan. Like, I'm a Knicks fan first. Forget about the Giants. The Knicks come first for me. So I grew up in that Patrick Ewing, John Starks era.
Me and you would have got. We'd been at each other's throat. I was a Bulls fan.
Oh yeah, well there you go. Jordan tortured me for 20 years. So
Game 6, 1993 Eastern Conference Finals. Charles Smith has six chances to.
I still have bad dreams about that one, man.
At least 6 chances to make it right under the basket and can't get it in there.
Well, forget about that. You want to talk about what gets me the most aggravated is that idiot Spike Lee. Now look.
Oh, Reggie Miller.
I am not. I hate how Spike Lee.
Do the right thing.
I hate how Spike Lee is like the face of the Knicks franchise. They always show him. Look, he single-handedly cost us that Pacers series because he was egging on Reggie Miller. He wouldn't shut up. He tried to make himself a part of the game, and he got Reggie Miller going to the point where he scored what? I guess it was nine points in like 6 seconds.
Yeah.
6 seconds. I mean, so I'll forever hate Spike Lee for that. And again, I'm a pretty honest guy. And so, yeah, not a fan of Spike Lee. Just don't interject. Like, you're not a part of the game. All right. Sit your butt down in the front row and just watch the game. Like, stop talking.
Jack Nicholson always just sat there at the game. He didn't ever get involved in the game. So, yeah, I agree with you. Don't poke the bear is what you do. So, what other sports? I know you played football. What other sports besides football did you play?
Played basketball. I mean, basketball was like my favorite sport growing up. I mean, I played basketball for hours and hours a day. Every playground in New Jersey. I mean, me and my buddies, we would go to Jersey City. We would go into some really, tough areas with great players, and we would play basketball constantly. And so I was all about basketball. Football. I actually ran track and threw the javelin too in high school. So that was always fun, throwing a javelin. But yeah, I mean, I tried to do everything. I was always into something. But my love for football came because my father was a high school football coach in New Jersey.
Okay.
And so, like, my Friday nights were pretty much going to his, Friday Night Lights. I was going, little kid, on the sideline watching my father coach, and then, during the week he'd be breaking down film, on like a Wednesday night, late at night, and I would watch him break down film. And so, he taught me a lot about football at a young age, and I developed a love for the game. So I think that's where kind of my love for football came from. But yeah, man, I liked it all. I especially like basketball. If I was 6'8", I would have loved to be a basketball player.
So when did you know football was going to be the thing that carried you to the next level?
When I got to high school, I mean, I started to kind of separate myself, on the field a little bit, and really started to feel really confident in what I was doing on the football field. And I would say probably like my sophomore or junior year, I knew for sure that that was going to be kind of my ticket, if you will, or at least my way into college. Because basketball's tough. If you don't have the height, it's tough. And God knows I didn't have like a 45-inch vertical like some of these guys. So, Kyle, what's the old my vertical was like, could you slide a piece of paper underneath it?
Yeah, I had that problem too. If I got net, I thought I was doing good. Everybody else was all like, I could get rim. I was like, yeah, I can get net, dude.
La Bamba!
Hey, white Italian guys are not known for their jumping ability, so I'll just leave it at that.
And a white man can't jump, neither can Mexicans.
All right.
So
we got to explain this, all right? Because now people are just going to think I'm being racist. La Bamba, and then said about Mexicans. When Stevie was in high school playing high school basketball, he was known as La Bamba because they thought he looked like Lou Diamond Phillips.
Okay, let me tell the story. Because I told Kyle this. 9th grade year, because 7th and 8th grade, I was a chubby, little fat, stumpy looking kid. And then
you got to throw the picture up on the screen, Stevie. Come on.
I'll put one up there. Between 8th grade and 9th, some of my 9th grade year, I slimmed down, and I was outside. I mean, all the time. And I got this tan, and I just kept it. And I guess people weren't used to seeing me slim down like it. So we went and played a team over in infield. And when I was inbounding the ball, you see it in the video. If I still had the video, there's a guy with a bullhorn behind me when I'm inbounding the ball, and he starts yelling out "La Bamba," and because that was a big movie at the time.
Great movie.
And then some of the girls from that school actually thought I was like an exchange student or something like that. We had fooled with that, but yeah, that stuck with me for the rest of my high school. I was La Bamba. I was Lou Diamond Phillips. But you had to throw that out there, did you, Kyle?
I did.
Yeah.
Later on, he changed his name to Chavez.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to go on the
classic movie.
Yeah, hey, there might be a Young Guns 3 in the works, guys. You hear about that?
Yeah, and I hope there is. I'm a huge Young Guns fan.
How is Chavez going to be back?
Well, if you remember, on Young Guns 2, he rode off, and you just assume he died. Okay, you don't know for sure he died.
Doc is definitely dead, right?
Doc is dead, yes. So there's no way to bring him back. And, with Billy the Kid, they're using the Brushy Bill storyline. So
what was the guy's name?
Arkansas Dave Rudabaugh. He was still alive.
That was Christian. No, what was Christian Slater's name?
Arkansas Dave Rudabaugh.
They killed him. They said that in the
Arkansas Dave dies in that movie?
They said when the movie was going through at the end, they said he got killed by Mexicans.
He did in real life. Yeah, the real Arkansas Dave did die, but it was later. So it depends on what year they're doing this.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
And but there was another big dude that joined.
These are all real people. Arkansas Dave Rudabaugh, Doc Scarlock, these were all based on real people. So.
But there was another guy that joined in the last movie. He was that farmer guy. What was his name?
Oh God, I don't remember. The farmer.
He survived.
Yeah, I didn't even remember that he survived.
But the little guy, the young guy, didn't.
The boy,
Prince of
Pistoliers.
Pistoliers.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to Matt. All right, Matt, high school football. What was the game? Your standout game? I know you had to have a rivalry game or a game that you played that you go back to look at like, God knows if I could go back and play that game again just like I did. Because I know I have them. I have a couple of them that I wish I could go back and play over again.
Yeah, I would say, my junior year, we made it to the state semis. There's a team called Mattawan. They were loaded with Division I talent, really top talent. And they beat us in the semis. I think it was like 45-41. It was a classic high school football game in New Jersey. I mean, just one of the better games you'll see. And so they beat us. And that whole offseason, I was kind of like determined to beat them the next year. And my very last game in high school football was against them. It was on Thanksgiving, and I think it was about 25 degrees. It was just bitter cold. And that was probably the best day I ever had on a football field. I had interception for a touchdown for about 60 yards. I had a reception for about 50-yard touchdown, and then another one, I think it was off of a fumble recovery for a long touchdown. So that was definitely the best day I had on a football field. It was pretty awesome. And we did win the game, so we kind of got a little redemption there, which, I can kind of, laugh about that 25 years later.
You play tight end on offense?
Yeah. I
told you, Kyle, baby Gronk. I told you.
Yeah, tight end. I loved playing offense. I really did. And, we used the tight end position quite a bit in high school. So I had a lot of balls thrown my way, and I would split out a lot, almost like a wide receiver, believe it or not. Like, remember we used to do kind of like with Bryce Williams when he was here with Lincoln. We would split him out and match him up on a smaller DB. So we used to do a lot of that. That was fun, man. Those are good memories, and I enjoy playing offense.
Yeah. So recruiting comes around, and we know you picked ECU. What schools were in contact with you or were talking to you about coming to play for?
A lot of northern schools. I mean, I thought I was going to go to Rutgers, and obviously being from New Jersey, but they had a coaching change my senior year. They fired their coach and they brought in a new coach, and I think he was from he came in from California, and we just never really kind of picked up that recruiting. And so at that point I had Doug Martin he was recruiting New Jersey heavily back then. Like my senior year, we had a ton of guys from New Jersey. You think about Scott Harley and Danny Gonzalez and guys like Dion McKeithen. And I mean, there were so many. I think we had like 4 or 5 guys. And, he came up to Jersey. He asked me to come down on a recruiting visit and didn't know much about ECU. I knew very little about Eastern North Carolina or ECU. But I did know that they had a top 10 finish, within, I guess that was 2 years prior.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, I'll go down on a visit. I wasn't really I just thought it was something I was going to do. I didn't think I was going to really like it. And funny story, actually. So I first of all, I had a blast on my recruiting trip. We went downtown. We took in all the bars. I probably enjoyed one too many pirate beverages on my recruiting trip.
I can't imagine.
Can't imagine that. But the funny story, the day, on Sunday, the day that you leave to go back home, Logan would call all the players in that had a recruiting trip. And he was basically like, look, so, we just hosted you on this trip. We hope you enjoyed it. We're looking for a commitment. And they wanted a commitment right on the spot. And he said, are you willing to commit right now? And I said, no. And I said, I'm not ready. And I actually shook his hand and I said, I'm gonna go back home and think about it, talk with my family. And he was very honest. And he said, look, I can't guarantee you we're going to have a scholarship. He's like, I understand you want to wait. He's like, but I can't guarantee you we're going to have a scholarship because things move really quick here. And we're looking to fill a linebacker spot very quickly. And so I left and, went out to the car and with both of my parents. And we were actually getting ready to drive back home to New Jersey. And my dad looked at me and he said, are you sure you want to pass up the scholarship? And I said, I don't know. I said, I know it's a really good opportunity, but it's a long way from home. And he said, you really need to think about it. So long story short, I left the car. I went back inside, sat down with Logan, and I said, all right, I'm ready to commit. And I committed there and never looked back. And it was a great decision.
Definitely. What was your first impressions of Greenville, though, when you got there?
Greenville was so different back then. It was a much smaller, town. It's like a city. It's awesome. Such a cool place. But back then, I mean, it was a small town. But the thing that jumped out at me was it was a great college town. It was a great atmosphere. And people don't know how much support ECU gets from the community there unless they've been there. And so that jumped out at me, but it was very different from where I grew up in New Jersey, just a very different place. And to be honest, I didn't know if I was going to fit in there because it was so different from what I knew. But that was definitely one thing, the atmosphere, the support from the community, which to this day, I mean, you still hear recruits all the time talk about how important that is to them, when they come in on a visit and that support from the community. So it's a pretty awesome thing. Most college towns or most colleges do not have that type of support.
Yeah, definitely right. I spent some time, probably a year before you got there at some of the downtown places, the Elbow Room and places like that. Yeah, that was.
Oh yeah.
Definitely a college town for sure.
get in trouble in those places.
Definitely. First impressions of Coach Logan.
Straight shooter, very straight shooter. Was not one to kind of mince words, and he was he was just a straight shooter in terms of like, hey, like he wasn't afraid to share his opinions. He was a younger coach. He had that kind of like a brash attitude, like he was an up and comer, and obviously an offensive guy. So I felt like he was very determined, and you just got the sense that the program was on the right track. At that time, like there was just a lot of momentum, and he was able to bring in some really good, a ton of really good talent at that time, and but mostly like what the coaches knew is they brought in guys that were bought into the system and what ECU was trying to do, and they did a really good job doing that, and there was obviously a lot of success, in the 90s because of that.
Yeah, as somebody that became an ECU fan like '83 with that '83 team, and then when you felt like everything was going on the right track, and then you suffered through a lot of lean years through the '80s, and then see the end of the '80s, you see a sort of a rise again, and seeing that program get on the right track again was, so great to see, because I was always like from '83 on. I remember my granddad talking about ECU, like these big schools, like the ACC schools, will regret treating ECU like the little stepbrother before long. He never understood the disrespect for ECU that they got from all these teams like the Carolinas, NC State. But it was great to see us dish something back on those ACC schools.
No doubt.
You talked a little bit about Coach Connors earlier. How was it like with Coach Connors? You could embellish a little bit more about how it was working with Coach Connors.
It was tough, man. It was the toughest thing I'd ever done in my life, working with him. And I'm telling you now, like some of those workouts he would put us through, you couldn't do those things in this day and age. You couldn't do it. Like,
oh no, yeah,
it's just, it's so different now in terms of like how far you can push players and what you can do, and it would be illegal now, Yep. And that's not like, I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just how much the game has changed from that time on. But man, let me tell you something. We went through some brutal workouts, and it started with off-season conditioning in the winter, where we were up at 5 a.m, and I remember just running so hard, like, you were almost dizzy. And, and then in the summertime with that heat, just really, really difficult training. And like, he was just like, I always say you'll appreciate this, Stevie, as a coach, but the way I kind of like my measurement of a great coach is, to me, a great coach can push you to your breaking point, but you still want to play for that guy. You still respect that guy. So there's a lot of guys that will push you to your breaking point, but you want to punch them in the face 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
And I had a few of those guys at ECU too. My position coach, I won't mention his name, but I was not his biggest fan. But anyway, but Connors had a way of pushing you to your limit, but you still respected him, and you wanted to play hard and get it done. So that, to me, that's the sign of a good coach, and he had that. There's only a few guys that I played for that really had that ability, and he was one of them.
Yeah, definitely Coach Connors there. All right, I have to ask this. First game, running out of at Dowdy Ficklin. What was that feeling like running out? I know you played a couple of games before that, away games, but running out of the tunnel at Dowdy Ficklin. I know it's not as great as it is now with the theatrics with the purple haze and the pirate and all that. But what was it like for you running out that first time on the field?
It was awesome. Like, there's no bigger rush than that feeling before a football game and running out into the field and, like, you know, that you can't duplicate that rush anywhere else in life. You really can't. Like, it's the ultimate adrenaline high, and so it was phenomenal. I mean, just, you know, that's like the beauty of college football is like the sights, the sounds, the band, you know, the cheerleaders, the support from the community. I mean, and Greenville has it all. So that always meant a lot to me. Like that's something I always remember. But I'll tell you, I had some opportunity to run on playing some cool
Yes, you did.
stadiums, you know, like we played at Auburn. We played, I remember being in the tunnel for the Auburn game, and that place was shaking. I mean, the roof was literally shaking above you. And then they have the eagle, the War Eagle, Stevie.
War Eagle, yeah.
And so that guy, he lets that thing go. It flies around the stadium, and then it comes back. And that, like, those memories are cool. And like my favorite times were when you're an underdog and you're going into a place like that, and basically the whole world counted you out a long time ago. Like ESPN, you know, you have no chance to win that game, right?
They can't even get the name right half the time.
Can't get the name right, but like that to me is my favorite part, or was my favorite part of playing at ECU, was the underdog times when everybody said they have no chance to win. But you had great leadership in that locker room, and we had a lot of talented guys. I mean, Morris Foreman comes to mind.
Oh, God.
You talk about, we had guys.
Talk a little bit about Morris, about playing with Morris, because that's something on the list I want to talk about with you, because I know you were you were right there with Morris the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you think about Morris Foreman, like, if you were just to look at his metrics, right? If you put him in an NFL-style combine, he probably wasn't the fastest guy. He wasn't the biggest guy, right? But, man, you put him on a football field, he was always in the right place at the right time.
Instinct.
Instinct. Like, there's certain guys that just have a knack, right? Like the Hart brothers. They had a knack for making plays and, you know, being in the right place at the right time. And Morris was just like that, man. Like, he didn't make mistakes. He never made mistakes. Like when you were in the film room the day after a game, like, very rarely did he have any type of a bust or anything like that. He was in the right spots. He was a very intelligent football player. And then how many linebackers do you know of that could return punts? I mean,
exactly.
Let's think about that for a second. I mean, not many could do that. So he was just like a once in a generation type guy, in my opinion. And I was actually his backup for 2 years. I was his primary backup my first 2 years. So I watched him, I studied him, and he didn't say a lot. Like, he wasn't like a big talker. He was a pretty quiet dude, but, like, you know, if he gave you that death look, man, just get out of his way, because he was a pretty intimidating dude, and great player. I mean, just a great player.
Yeah, you talk about playing at some pretty nice places. You talk about the Auburn game. Auburn was ranked number 3 at the time when you guys played them, and you guys held your own with them. Ended up dropping that 38-21. But let's talk a little bit about end of the year. You get your first bowl experience. And I always ask somebody the first time they go to a bowl game, what was that whole experience that week like for you at the Liberty Bowl against Illinois?
It was interesting, man. You know, it was that was my true freshman year. So I was, I think I was 17. Was I 17? Or maybe I just turned 18. I was young and kind of taking in all that for the first time. And I'll tell you, here's the thing about that first bowl game. People don't realize how good Illinois was that year. All right. That was the year Penn State went undefeated. Okay. They had Kijana Carter was their running back.
Kerry Collins.
they were maybe one of the best college football teams of all time. The only game they came close to losing that year was against Illinois. They were actually losing in the third quarter. All right. So Illinois, people don't understand how good that team was. Maybe it wasn't reflected in their record. Like the record wasn't perfect, but like their defense was top notch. I mean, they had a lot of talent on that defense. And so, you know, I remember that. I remember how talented that team was. And we got beat that day. You know, we got beat that day pretty handily. And that was a rough day. Because there were some plays for us to make, but we just, for whatever reason, we just couldn't make the plays that day as a team. And they were not that much better than us by any stretch. But look, you got to give them credit. They made the plays and we didn't. Yeah. And they won the game. And so I remember that. But I also remember having a great time on Beale Street, man. Like I definitely went out, had a little bit of fun that week. And, you know, if you're at a bowl game, you got to have a little bit of fun too.
Yeah, you got to enjoy the atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, we, you know, play hard. We're always, you know, 100% committed on the goal, but you know, you could also go out and have some fun too. So I remember that, and you know, but tough loss, man, very tough loss.
And it seemed like it kind of fueled the fire for you guys for the next season to come up to get back and not let that happen again. But you guys start off the next year on the road and against a Tennessee team with who was that quarterback that they had?
Never heard of him, man. Never.
I mean, his name doesn't ring a bell. Peyton somebody. Peyton Manning. I mean, playing at Tennessee. Talk about that. I mean, I know you said Auburn was rocking, but you got Peyton Manning at quarterback. You got the opening game of the year for both you guys for Tennessee. What was that atmosphere like?
Unbelievable. It was unbelievable. You know, just you talk about a rush, a once in a lifetime rush, where again, you're the underdog. Nobody in the world gives you a chance to win. But the guys in the locker room, look, we had a lot of talent on that team. Great quarterback in Marcus Crandall. Really talented wide receivers like Mitch Galloway, Larry Shannon. You know, we had a lot of talent on that team. And, you know, like those guys like they were the leaders of that team. But there was no thought process ever like we're just going to go into Tennessee and get beat up. Like that's not how it was. It was like we're going to go in there and win the game. Like that was the mentality. And Tennessee, obviously a very good team. They had some big running backs, like 230-pound running backs that would just get downhill and, you know, could do some damage on you. But we hung around in that game. I mean, we made some plays early, didn't make a few plays, you know, like there were a few just turning points in that game that had they gone our way, you know, it definitely would have been a little closer in the fourth quarter. But it was a good experience for that team because when you see that you can go toe-to-toe with some of the best teams in the country, now all of a sudden, you know, like whoever's on your schedule, you're going to have a chance to win the game.
Yeah, one year I coached, and we had a horrible year the year before. Won the first game of the year and lost every other game the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. But I had a lot of guys coming back the next year. We played a team, the first game of the year, we played the defending state champions at home. And they had all their folks come over. I mean, they had a big crowd come over because they just knew it was going to be a blowout. We had the lead most of the game, lost the lead with like 4 minutes left, and we were driving out of the field and threw an interception. But I don't like to lose, but if there was ever such a thing as a bad loss for, you know, a good loss, I'll put it that way, those kids saw they could play with anybody. That was the first year we went to the championship game was that year. That team was one of my best teams we had, and because they knew they got that confidence from that first game, we can play with anybody, you know.
Oh yeah. Sometimes that first loss can like kind of galvanize a team. Yeah. You know, we were talking earlier, Stevie, about those New York Giants teams in the 80s, and You think about the 1986 New York Giants team that won the Super Bowl in Pasadena against the Broncos. It was in the Rose Bowl. Their first game of the season, they lost to the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't think they lost again. Jeez, I'm trying to remember. I don't think they may not have lost again. I can't recall right now, but it's so long ago. But yeah, so sometimes you'll see that opening season loss and can galvanize a team. And it can go either way, but I think we took the good from it.
Yeah, then you come back the next week at Syracuse, another top 25 ranked team, and you guys end up beating Syracuse. So evidently, it worked because you guys end up going on the road and upsetting a top 25 team.
And was down at halftime 21-0 or 21-7. Matt, do you remember?
Oh boy, you probably remember, but I think 21-7 sounds about right, Kyle. I honestly don't remember, but Bubba would know. I mean, Bubba remembers more about the football games I played in, than I did. But the great Bubba Rosenbaum, ladies and gentlemen, has a memory for this stuff. But yeah, but that game is a perfect example of that team had great leadership. Like there was no crying that week. We lost to Tennessee. We went back to work. We had a great week of practice, and the belief was to go up there and win a game. And that's what happened. So, but that kind of sums up what that team was all about.
What was your favorite win, Matt? So you said you love being the underdog, love pulling the upsets. That win over Syracuse, huh?
I bet I know what it is. Go ahead.
That win over Syracuse was an upset. I mean, 96 Miami was upset. The Stanford Liberty Bowl, that made ECU finish in the top 25 at the end of 95. You had 96 against NC State. Trying to think of other ones that come to mind. 95 against was 96 against West Virginia, 95 against West Virginia in Greenville. So South Carolina wins. Which one stick out most to you?
One you didn't mention, I don't think, the Orange Bowl against Miami.
Yeah, 96 Miami. I mentioned.
Did you? Okay. So man, that one will always stick out because that was a historic place, man. Like the old Orange Bowl, like that was where Namath wagged the finger. They played Super Bowls there, and like you go into that stadium and you saw the national champion signs up by the scoreboard, and then you have the palm trees in the end zone. Like it's just an iconic place. You grew up watching. I watched tons of college football when I was a kid, and I watched a million games in that stadium. So to have the opportunity to play there was really cool. And then look, that was like the Hurricanes. That was the old school Hurricanes, like the bad boys of college football. You had, think about all the stuff that went on with the Catholics versus the convicts.
Yeah.
And the Jimmy Johnson years and all the personalities they had, the Michael Irvins and, the Warren Sapps and all those great players. And then, so again, it was the type of thing where a huge underdog, nobody in the world gave you a chance to win that game. And that team relished that spot. Like that team embraced that spot. And if you told that team that they were an underdog and they couldn't win, they wanted to prove you wrong. Like that was what was really cool about that time. And we went in there and just ran wild on them, man. And like that was a really cool thing. That was a really awesome night. It was a fun night. Its score could have been worse, honestly.
Yeah, y'all called off the dogs there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we just had it all going that night, and just an awesome memory. And the best part might have been the after party, and when we got back to Greenville.
I heard a story that you told on another show about the amount of frustration that the Miami players were having, and an encounter you had with you wouldn't say the name, but the center from Miami at the time. Good
memory, man. Good memory. Yeah, I was actually going to mention that. I think frustration really hit home for them, like in the, I don't know, late in the third quarter. And I just remember the center was, he was spit, he would spit through his face mask trying to spit on our players. And, that's like, probably the most classless thing you could ever do on a football field. Like who does that? Who does that, honestly? But, I do remember that. And, I just remember kind of laughing at him because you knew you had him at that point. Right. Yep. And look, those Miami teams were great. I mean, but that was just our night.
Yeah, you guys 31-6 over Miami, and then I gotta ask you about this. We talked about this playing the ACC schools. I mean, we talked about that a little bit earlier, but how different was the demeanor from any other game? Because I know it had to be a little different going into playing somebody like, maybe not Duke or Wake Forest or somebody like, but playing against NC State, who I would say this for the Peach Bowl pregame thing, that if that didn't piss off ECU fans, the lack of respect they had for ECU on just that little ESPN spot that they did. But playing against a team like NC State, what was your demeanor going into a game like that?
Well, I'll be honest, man. I didn't, because I didn't grow up in North Carolina. Growing up in Jersey, like I didn't really fully understand like the hatred there between at that time, like ECU and NC State. I mean, I learned about it quick, obviously, but like I know for the guys who grew up in North Carolina, that was a big deal. And I mean, a lot of those guys on NC State, I'm sure, were like teammates of theirs. They crossed paths in high school, and so it was a huge deal for like the in-state guys. But I learned quickly that was obviously you want to beat your in-state rival, but it was awesome. I mean, just I remember the game up in Charlotte. Obviously, was a blowout. I actually was hurt. I didn't play at all. I think I was in a walking boot that game. But Scott Harley ran wild. Yeah, that was something. And then I do remember my very last game of my career was in Carter Finley, the Torrey Holt game, when he took that little wide receiver screen about 70 yards to the house. You remember that one, Kyle? Torrey Holt, man, he was a great player.
Yeah, I remember that game because in the early fourth quarter, like we were about to win it, then we ended up losing by 14. Yeah. That was a frustrating game. We went from being up by 7 to losing by 14 in seemingly minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, no doubt, like those were awesome games for sure.
I've talked about this game with you multiple times because I don't have a copy of it and I've never seen it. I only got to listen to it on the radio. Couldn't go that day. 97 Wake Forest. The Digs coming to Dowdy Ficklin. It was the first time we had an ACC team in there since the 60s. Yeah. Do you remember the atmosphere for that one, Matt? I mean, it was sold out stadium. Pirates get down early, come back and beat Wake. I know I've talked to you about that one multiple times, and I'm always looking for a copy of that game. One day I'm going to find it. What do you remember about that game?
It's out. That copy's got to be out there, Kyle. It's got to be out there. Fun game. I mean, great atmosphere. I do remember really good atmosphere for that game. We were a little sloppy early, got down pretty big, and then I just remember it was a physical game. We were just kind of like scratching and clawing back the entire second half. And I remember Rod Coleman made a big play. I think it was like a strip sack. And I feel like that was a play that really kind of changed momentum in that game a little bit. You talk about another good player, Rod Coleman, had a great NFL career. Yeah, fun, great atmosphere. Wake is a team. That's a team I would like to play more. I think it's unfortunate that we don't play Wake Forest more often through the years because it's another fun rivalry. Well, if you want to call it a rivalry, in-state opponent, whatever you want to call it. But I think that's one that the fans would embrace. And they would deny it, I'm sure, but I think it will be a big deal. And also, like, it's a big win for the local economy too. Anytime you play those in-state opponents, it's great for the city. If you can get them into Greenville, obviously ticket sales go up, but like hotels, restaurants, it's a win all around when you can get those teams in. So I would like to see the state, and I'm kind of going off a little bit topic here, but
you're fine.
I would love to see, the state mandate that every year, you have to play another in-state opponent. So, maybe it's Wake Forest one year, maybe it's, Coastal another year, maybe it's UNC, maybe it's, but whatever it is, but I would like to see, I would like to see every year one game against an in-state opponent.
Ladies and gentlemen, Coastal Carolina has been moved to North Carolina now.
Myrtle Beach, my bad, Myrtle Beach.
I'm with you. I'd like to see more. We do have Wake Forest coming back on the schedule, I think in 27 or 28 in Greenville, Matt. But another game from that 97 season that sticks out to me, me and Stevie were talking about this one earlier, and I don't know if this is the game where you had the hit on the Louisville player or not, but 97 at Louisville. 97 at Louisville, the Pirates get down early. They had a dump then. They didn't have the nice Papa John's Cardinal Field or wherever it's called now. They were playing in a dump. I think it was an old AAA baseball stadium they converted into a football stadium. And Pirates go up there, Pirates go up there, get down early, and come back, and that one defense shuts them down completely in the second half. You remember that game?
Oh yeah, I remember it well. I mean, Louisville, they were one of the. I would say like they were one of the original teams during that time to really spread you out, like empty gun, 4 and 5 wide receivers, a lot of quick passing games. They made a living off wide receiver screens. They were different. Like now you see so many teams do that, but at that time, like they were pretty different. Like high octane, quick tempo offense that you didn't see a ton of. And so I remember that, and they presented some challenges, but we played really well that day. I remember Dwight Henry, I think, did he have a pick six? I want to say Dwight Henry had a pick six in the first half of that game. And we just kind of took control and really were the more physical team that day. But that stadium was awful. There was I remember there was nobody there. It was, maybe 5,000 people. It felt like just, it wasn't a really fun environment to play in. Yeah. A good win though. That was a big win because it kind of kept things moving in the right direction, and it was a road game. Any road win is a big win.
Kyle, that was pulled a Stevie, turned the game off early when we go down. Colin, what is that?
I think it was 20. I think the Pirates were 17-0, maybe something like that.
What is that stupid Semenza kid doing out there? God knows. Get his ass off the field. No, you had a quarterback. You had Chris Redmond, who goes on to a decent NFL career as a backup. So he did.
He lit us up the following year in '98. Good God.
Yeah.
Oof, yeah. That was. I remember being on a sideline for that game. I was done playing, but that was an ugly game. Right? That was Kyle. That was the didn't they hang how many did they hang on us?
It was like 50. It was like 56-42. It was we could score. We just couldn't stop them at all. Yeah. And at that point in the season, we were still playing for some. We ended up beating Memphis next week to go 6-5. But at that point, we could still win out and get 7 games. And that was the first year Conference USA had the Motor City Bowl at the time. And we were told had we beat Louisville and Memphis, we were going to go to the Motor City Bowl. And unfortunately, Louisville hung 50-some on us that day, and we did bounce
63 to 45.
Okay, 63 to 45, yeah. So, but we bounced back the following week and beat Memphis to get bowl eligible, but ended up not going to a bowl because there weren't as many bowls back then. But that was a very high scoring game in '97, and David Garrard, 98 rather. David Garrard really, those games, the second half of the '98 season, like that Louisville loss and like the Memphis win, you really saw what David Garrard was going to be.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'll tell you a quick David Garrard story since you mentioned his name. I just remember kind of hearing we got this really good recruit at quarterback, really talented, and I remember the first time I saw him, he looked like a damn linebacker.
Yeah,
and I'm he was just he was built more like a linebacker than a quarterback, and so my senior year, he was running the scout team quarterback, and I have a vivid memory first practice or first week of the season. Again, he's running scout team, and he threw a deep ball. And I was I remember just being on defense, watching the ball come out of his hands. And I'm damn, that's talent. You could see something different in his arm, certain type of arm strength. And, yeah, obviously he had it, man. He had all the talent. He could throw it. He could run it with the best of them.
So let's talk a little bit one more of your teammates, and probably I've had him on the show before. Another linebacker, Jeff Kerr. What was it like playing with Jeff Kerr?
It was great, man. Jeff, Jeff when he came in, he was really skinny. He was probably 200 pounds soaking wet, but he was athletic, and you knew if he could put on 20 pounds, he was going to be a really good linebacker. But he was just the type, he just worked his ass off. But there's certain guys you could depend on them. They're going to be in the weight room. They're never going to cause a problem. They're going to be in the playbook, and he was just one of those guys. I mean, so, he hard-nosed dude, obviously. I mean, and I say I use the word hard-nosed, because he broke his nose about 7 times and playing middle linebacker. And, I started calling him Pinocchio. His nose got so big after he broke it so many times. But, yeah, tough player, had a great career. Yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, he's another one, maybe Hall of Fame, right? Down the road.
Yeah, I would say so. What do you think, Kyle?
One of the best linebackers ever played East Carolina, and kind of one of the pioneers of college football talent going on to have a career in NASCAR. Jeff was one of the first. So yeah, he's somebody that should definitely be considered for ECU Hall of Fame.
Any last things you got, Kyle, before I get into this 2-minute drill with Matt?
No, I mean, just from a personal aspect, I love getting to know Matt over the last several years, doing the sports objective with him. Matt's a good dude. He's a stand-up guy. I've like I say, enjoyed getting to know him, and then come to find out Matt couldn't stand me at first. That's the.
It wasn't so much that I couldn't stand you. I just didn't know what to make of Kyle, man. I'm I don't know about this dude. I'm I don't know. But I'll tell you, I remember hearing Kyle's calls on the 5th
Kyle from LaGrange.
Kyle from LaGrange. And I'm who the hell is this guy from LaGrange, man? I'm he can really talk. I'm he can really talk. He's really talented. He knows. He's kind of funny. I'm I don't know. I don't know if I like him, though. Stevie, I'm I don't know if I like this guy. But, yeah, no, it turns out I was wrong. I was wrong. Kyle's a great dude, man. And he's, I always say, Kyle and Bubba, mention Bubba's name again, 2 of the most passionate ECU fans you'll ever meet. So, yeah, I mean, and these guys have memories you wouldn't believe. I mean, they remember everything. Remember games from 1978. I'll tell you the score of it. So
we actually did a Independence Ball anniversary show with the 78 Independence Ball team.
There you go.
So I do have one more thing before we get into the 2-minute drill. There is another generation of Semenza athletes. We got to talk about your son Chase. As a matter of fact, right now you're in the middle of doing something with him right now. What's going on with Chase?
Yeah, man. Thanks for asking. That's my my pride and joy right there. Yeah, Chase is a baseball player. We're actually down in Georgia right now for what's called they call it the Future Games, and it's a huge event. I mean, it's just a massive event, and he's plays for Team Connecticut. And we had our first game today against Team New York, and we won 12-1. And man, what an awesome event down here! It's in Lake Point, Georgia. Lake Point Sports in Georgia, and you would not believe how many. Every college in the country was there today. Literally every college in the country. Just a huge event. East Carolina was there. East Carolina coaches were there. And so, yeah, I'm just really proud of my son. He works really hard. I think he's got a great future in baseball. And, he loves the game. And I'll tell you, I never thought my son would be a baseball player. I just kind of figured he'd be and I'm really happy he is. I'm glad he went a different route than I went, because he'll protect his body, and he won't have arthritis at 45 years old like I. But yeah, man, he's a great kid, and he's working really hard. So I enjoy watching him play. And tomorrow we have another big game. I think we play New Jersey tomorrow. So it's fun, man.
Good luck to Chase and his team tomorrow. Hope they get the win. Keep us posted on that. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle. I'm giving you one last chance. Kyle.
I got nothing. I've said everything I need to say. I mean, it's you can jump onto your 2-minute drill, Stevie, if you're ready.
All right. So
what's the 2 minutes? So it's just like rapid fire questions, like
rapid fire questions. There's no wrong answers. It's like, I don't know if you ever see the episode of Friends where they tell you just clear your head. First thing that comes to your head when you hear the question, that's what you go with.
You ever seen the episode of Family Guy?
Why do I have a feeling Kyle's going to throw in some trick questions that are going to get me in trouble?
I don't have any questions, but what I am going to do, Matt.
My wife's listening, so don't throw anything too crazy on me, all right?
I don't have any.
Well, after the way you started the show, I don't know if we can get much crazier than that.
I don't have any questions to all Stevie, but has anybody ever seen the episode of Family Guy where Lois is on Family Feud and she's holding Stewie?
Yeah.
And she's giving the answers, and then Stewie gives his answer like right after, and it's like you'll see what I'm gonna do. You'll see what I'm gonna do. Go ahead, Stevie.
Oh God, this is gonna be terrible then. Oh God. All right, so here we go, Matt.
Is this pop culture? What are we talking about? Like,
just answer the questions, Matt. Just answer the questions.
I want to know the format here. All right, let's go.
It's just, I mean,
potpourri.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Cornbread, damn it. Favorite food?
Chicken Parmesan, no doubt, no brainer. I'll eat it 7 days a week for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Eggs and brains.
All right, Coke or Pepsi?
Coke. It's not
by the ounce.
It's not even a question. Pepsi's garbage. It's a trash. What? It's a trash soft drink.
Okay, that's a North Carolina soft drink too.
Steve, you look so disappointed by that.
Pepsi was invented in New Bern, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry to all the great people of New Bern, but
yeah,
you got to go.
Matt would like to maybe live in New Bern someday.
But you never know, man. Never know.
Lake or beach?
Beach, 100%, man. And I'll tell you why. Lakes, grimy water. You got the snakes.
Yeah.
No waves. I'll take the beach all day long.
Sharks. You like?
I grew up in New Jersey, so our beaches, they're a little dirty. Sometimes you can't swim in the water, but that's how we like it. Right, Kyle?
I was trying to come up with a funny remark.
Yeah, I was going to say he can't come up with nothing on Lake or beach. Pond. Hey, I've got swamp. You should have said swamp.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite music artist? I'm just talking about the solo artist right now. Favorite music solo artist?
Oh, solo artist, man. That's a tough one. Favorite music solo artist. Whew. Kind of like I don't know. I always thought Dave Matthews was a really talented guy. For a solo guy, I'm more into like bands,
Yeah. Okay. What's your favorite music band then?
I would say my favorite band of all time is probably Van Halen.
The guys next door.
Like AC/DC, Metallica.
Yeah,
so
see you that era that you came in a little bit behind me. So yeah, that you never got much into the grunge thing.
I love the grunge thing, like really like Pearl Jam.
Soundgarden.
I think the 90s is the great, like the early 90s from like 1990 to like 97 is the best era for music, in my opinion. I think that was the best era in the history of music.
I agree with you. 90s country was the best.
I disagree with both of you. Jeez. Y'all are cuckoo on that one. Favorite TV show?
Oh man. Favorite TV show. I would probably say that's a good one. I would probably say my favorite show ever was The Sopranos. That was like a big event on Sunday nights. Me and my wife would clear the schedule, and like when The Sopranos would come on Sunday nights, like we would watch that show. Great show. Did you guys ever watch it? I hope you watched it.
I didn't watch much of it. Were you disappointed with the ending?
I didn't. I get the ending, but I didn't love it. I wanted something a little more concrete. But you guys have to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Kyle, did you watch The Sopranos?
I've watched The Sopranos in clips. I will sit there and watch clips of The Sopranos. I didn't watch it when it was on the air. I didn't have HBO. But I did. I will now go back and watch it in clips on YouTube and TikTok, and I often wonder why the hell I haven't watched the show. It seems like a great show.
You guys have to watch it. I'm going to give you one more, though, right? Can I give you two on this one?
Yeah.
Is Charles in charge?
Comedy. I'm going to give you Eastbound and Down. Love that show.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
That was the funniest show I've ever seen.
My brother loved that show. He used to talk about that show all the time. All right. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Oh, man. Jeez. There's so many.
Probably too.
I would have to say my favorite movie of all time. I've probably watched it 100 times. I'll watch it 100 more. Never get tired of it. Is Jaws, the original Jaws.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That was just, what was it? Was it the 50th anniversary of that recently?
Yeah, 50th anniversary.
I was scared of that. I was scared of that daggone movie, dude, because that came out when I was like really young, and but for some reason we had like me and my brother had little cups, Jaws cups and King Kong cups at the house. I don't know why. I was like, why have I got a Jaws cup here? Because I didn't even watch the movie. The funny thing, I'll tell you about that. There's a part in that movie where they're going through in the water, and they're looking at a ship or something like that. And we were watching it. I don't know why my mom and dad decided it was a good idea for us to watch it. It came on like network TV. And all of a sudden this head pops out. A guy's head pops out.
Yeah.
My brother went. Luckily, my uncle was right behind him, because when it did, my brother went straight back. He fell out. And I'll always remember that. But
you ever think, all right, I'm going to put it in these terms. Like, what movie has had a bigger impact than Jaws? To this day, anytime you go to the beach, you think about the movie Jaws, right? At least I do. I mean, and that was right up in the Cape Cod area. Always shark attacks up in those waters. So that movie had a big impact.
So I'll tell you, if you go to a golf course, though, people always try to do the Happy Gilmore swing.
That's true.
And guess what? Good segue. Happy Gilmore 2 on Netflix comes out tomorrow. So big Happy
tomorrow,
Gilmore fan. Yeah. That should be interesting with some of the cast he's got on that. All right, go-to karaoke song.
Wow. God.
I knew Kyle would love that one.
I can't picture Matt doing karaoke.
It's probably nothing you'd really want to ever hear or see.
Or go if it's not karaoke, a go-to song that you listen to in your car when you're going out and you're like, oh yeah, and you start singing like you think you sound just like that guy you're just singing.
Cool Rider. Cool Rider.
I do a lot.
Cool Rider.
Cool Rider.
C-O-O-L.
Cool Rider.
I go Enter Sandman a lot.
Right.
Enter Sandman?
I go Enter Sandman a lot.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
You sound like Hetfield.
All right, go ahead, Matt.
Nah, I'm.
Say your prayers, little one. Don't forget my foot.
There you go.
All right.
Great song.
Toughest opponent you went up against when you were at ECU. I'm not talking whether it's a team or an individual that you went up against.
Latex condoms.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Seriously.
All right. This answer might surprise you a little bit. Southern Mississippi.
Oh, Southern Miss that doesn't surprise me at all. 95 Southern Miss game. Chad Holcomb fake field goal, pass interference call, then the field goal to win it. What do you remember about that game?
Dude, they had some really good players back in the day, like tough players.
That was the big rival back then for ECU.
Yeah,
man, yeah. They were a good team. Great program. No, I just remember like that was a wild game. Obviously, great kick there by Holcomb at the end, but yeah, man, that was a great game. And was that that was the fake?
Yep, fake field goal.
Scott Richards, right? Did he threw a pass down the field? Do I have this right?
Fake field goal. Guy was open. Pass interference in the end zone. One untimed down. Field goal for the win.
Yep. Yeah. It's an awesome game.
All right. Turf or grass?
Grass all day long.
Yeah. That's
no doubt.
I'm serious. I'm not going to make the joke.
I gave you a layup, Kyle.
I'm not going to make the joke.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No way.
I don't mind pineapple on pizza.
That's a sin to put pineapple on pizza.
It's an Italian from a New Jersey Italian that now lives near New Haven. He's probably got pretty high standards for pizza.
Yeah, it's a no-go. It's a no-go.
He's not neighbors with old Vince, is he, Kyle?
McMahon, I don't know. See if you can find Vince. Get some money out of him. Shake him down, Matt.
He's an ECU alumni. You need to go banging on his door and say, "Hey, look, stop paying the money to all these girls that whatever, and give us some money to ECU for an indoor facility."
It's the biggest missed opportunity in ECU history right there. I don't know how we screwed that one up, but
you could get Sandra Bullock too.
That would be nice.
Look, here's the thing. Vince right now needs to rehabilitate his image
because
of all the sex scandals and sex trafficking allegations and stuff. He's no longer involved with WWE because of that, but he's still a billionaire. That's billionaire with a B. And I would say approach him. All he can say is no. Look, Vince, you need to rehabilitate your image. You're going to be we're going to present this to ESPN. We're going to make it publicly. Vince McMahon donates millions of dollars to help his university that he graduated from, not some major, Power 4 school, East Carolina University. And his goal, because he loves football, is to make East Carolina a playoff team. And people forget now that's a very realistic goal. Every year there's going to be a group of 5 representative in the playoffs with the current format. And that's not a circle spot for Boise State, Tulane, or Memphis. Mm-hmm. I mean, East Carolina, we need to get our mindset back to that needs to be our goal. And that used to be how we would be, but under our current leadership, Mr. Wellwell and some other people, mediocrity, it rules the day. Mm. And, go beat down the door of Vince McMahon. Go beat down the door of Mr. Beast. We're going to make East Carolina a playoff contender every year, and it can be done. All it's going to take is money and, revenue sharing, and that money needs, with the stuff Trump passed today and was already kind of being put in place, a lot of the third-party out-of-control NIL stuff is going to go away. So, you get Vince and Mr. Beast to donate that money straight to the university, go through revenue sharing, and, we can pay players. But yeah, we should be beating on Vince McMahon's door.
Absolutely.
So, Matt, you won't eat a Hawaiian pizza? Like if somebody handed you a piece of pizza or a slice of pizza with pineapple and ham, you're just going to throw it down?
Yeah, I'm not eating that.
Okay.
Giving it back. You can keep that.
All right.
Bubba, the other day I was talking to Bubba. He said he got a pizza with pineapple on it. I was like, "Are you kidding me, man? Like, just come on. Like, how about pepperoni, sausage?"
I'm not going to order a pizza with pineapple, but if I'm at a Matt probably turn up his nose at this, but if I'm at a pizza buffet, I'll grab a piece of the Hawaiian off the buffet, but I'm not going to order one.
You get a taco pizza, Kyle.
I love eating a taco. But anyway, I
knew that was coming.
Matt got it. Yes, off the Pizza Inn buffet, Matt. Or Stevie, yes, the taco pizza off the Pizza Inn buffet. I grab a piece of that. Absolutely.
I got you. All right, Matt. Favorite place to play on the road? Or that you played at on the road?
I'd say Auburn.
Auburn. All right.
I'm the middle of the yellow lines.
All right. Last but not least, favorite ECU memory. Favorite memory of your time at ECU.
Favorite ECU memory.
And that could be a couple if you need to.
Wow. It's probably not football related.
Oh.
Bomb chicken. Bow, bow. Remember your wife watching.
Yeah, your wife's in the room.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding over there. Favorite memory. I got to probably go back to that game against Miami. It was just such a fun night, man. That was awesome. It's a great night. I'd probably go with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was probably one I would go at too if I played in that.
Is this it, Stevie? Like, I thought I was on the hot seat here, man. Like,
what do you want me to ask? You want me to Barbara Walters grill you, or your wife was in the room?
Yeah, you got to talk like Barbara Walters while you're doing this, Stevie.
Wah 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 wah. I mean, easy.
I thought we were going to delve into the political realm, the political landscape. Kyle knows I love to talk politics, right?
Oh, yeah, okay. Sure. You want to talk politics? What do you think about Trump and the Epstein files?
There's certain things, you don't want to talk about there.
What else you want to talk about, Matt? What you want to talk about?
Man. I mean, look.
NFL team. What's your NFL team's the Giants. What's your outlook on the Giants this year?
You got
Jackson Dart and Russell Wilson. Who's going to be the quarterback?
Russell Wilson's going to be the quarterback just by default because, he's a veteran. He's going to come in and pick up the system. I think he still can play too. I think he's got a lot of mileage left in him. I liked the signing. I thought it was a really good signing, but I liked drafting Jackson Dart. Like, I liked what I saw out of him at Ole Miss, and he was kind of a little bit off the radar. He wasn't really talked about with the top quarterbacks, but when you watch him play, he's a really good athlete. He can run the ball. He can push it downfield. I think he's really talented. So give him a year. Maybe, there's even a possibility maybe Russell Wilson doesn't work out. And by the end of the season, you see Jackson Dart starting some games. But I think that the future is bright with him.
Okay. What do you think about their defense? I know you guys drafted a lot of defensive players. What do you think about the defense this year?
Well, our number one draft pick, Abdul Carter from Penn State, is an absolute beast. And he's like the early reports that I'm reading about. I'm not like but I read about these things in the New York Post is that he has been unblockable in practice. And he was unblockable at Penn State. He like literally wrecked offenses the last few years at Penn State. So he's going to be plug and play. Like I think he's going to be all pro. He's like right out of the mold of like Micah Parsons you see with the Cowboys. Yeah. Just explosive, outside edge rusher. He's going to make plays. And if he's healthy, forget it. He's all pro his first year in the league.
You got him on one side, Brian Burns on the other side, so that should definitely be a big improvement with the Giants defense this year. Okay,
Yep.
you're a Knicks fan. Firing the coach. What'd you think about that?
I wasn't opposed to moving on from Thibodeau. I didn't like a lot of the things I saw with like their not to get too deep into it, but like their perimeter pick and roll defense. There was a lot of confusion, especially in the playoffs, that they kind of got exposed. But I wasn't opposed to moving on, but they didn't really have a plan.
Exactly.
I don't know how much you follow that, Stevie.
Yeah.
Like we're just gonna. If you fire your coach, you should have
somebody
2 or 3 guys in mind, and they clearly had nobody in mind, and they wound up with, essentially, no disrespect to Mike Brown, but he's a retread. He's had 3 or 4 jobs, not much originality in that hire. So I don't love it.
Yeah, because what was it? 3 of them that you guys called in for an interview and were turned down?
Yeah, I think they thought that they were just going to people were just going to jump at the opportunity to coach the Knicks. But people are under contract, they talked about Jason Kidd. He's under contract. You can't just, it's not that easy. So
who's running the Knicks? Jeff Comfer?
The great Jeff Comfer. Yeah. Kyle, are you doing Jeff Comfer impersonation?
Man, yeah, I used to really well. I haven't done it in a while, so it's not what it used to be. But yeah, I used to. I could do it again, but probably not right now. It wouldn't be very good right now. I need to hear his voice. I hadn't heard it in so long to do it accurately. But Matt, do you have a baseball team? Are you a Yankees Mets fan?
Don't say Yankees.
I'm definitely I'm not a big Major League Baseball guy, but I am a Yankees fan. Yeah.
Jesus.
Sorry, Stevie. Sorry about it. I've grown to like college baseball. Me and my son watch a lot of college baseball. I think we watched every ECU game this year on ESPN Plus. So, we don't really MLB. I don't really find it too entertaining anymore. It's just all about, it's all about the one home run. It's not like it used to be. So.
All right, I got a couple more questions I could put on this 2-minute drill that I left off here.
It's now a 20-minute drill.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a whole game for long. Because Matt wants to talk. We're gonna put Matt on the spot. First concert you ever went to, Matt?
I hate concerts.
I do hate concerts, man. Kyle.
But I know you went. You had to go to one as a kid.
I don't understand. Matt needs to come to a concert with me. I'll make Matt love concerts, or either hate me, one or the other.
I'll tell you. All right. So my very first concert. This is going to surprise you a little bit. The Steve Miller Band.
Oh, we threw away here. We threw away. Steve Miller is officially stripped.
He is no longer the gangster of love.
He can't be that anymore after what he pulled.
What did he pull?
Canceling the rest. He canceled the rest of his tour, which
because of extreme weather conditions throughout America. 2
or 3 months still for tour, and he's like, we're going to cancel it now because of extreme weather conditions.
Yeah, that's not good.
All right, first, and I know you probably bought CDs. First CD you bought with your own money.
Or cassette.
Was he around? Well, cassettes were probably on the way out when he.
No, cassettes were still predominant. The source of music in the late '80s. That's when he would have been mid to late '80s.
He's 3 years. He's only 3 years younger than me.
I think it was 1984. Van Halen.
There you go.
And that was a cassette.
That even you could even bought that on record. Vinyl was still '84. So.
Yeah.
Okay. And guilty pleasure. What is something that's on your playlist or you listen to that people might be shocked that Matt Semenza listens to?
Or watch. No, I'm being serious because he's a bigger movie TV guy than he is music guy.
You think?
I'm a huge movie guy. You
think he watches Gilmore Girls, Kyle?
I'll tell you what, man. Back in the day when Gilmore Girls was on the air, early 2000s, Rory was cute as she could be.
Hey, you remember Sebastian Bach was on Gilmore Girls, Kyle?
I don't, but
Skid Row guy.
Skid Row, Sebastian Bach.
So I'm going to answer this question, but I have a feeling you guys haven't seen it before. Guilty pleasure is in terms of a watch. Trailer Park Boys on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
Unbelievable.
That's not bad.
Dude, that is one of the funniest shows ever made.
Is there a movie that or that people or a TV show that people would be shocked that you like a Gilmore Girls or a Seventh Heaven, or maybe Fly Away Home
Small
or
Wonder.
I'll give you
She's
one.
a small wonder.
This might surprise you. I was a big Three's Company guy.
Hey,
That doesn't surprise me at all. Your answers to these suck.
Your answers are not guilty pleasure. Three's Company. I never miss Three's Company.
Yeah, I like the show with the girl with the really short shorts on, and the other girl that was there, and Three's Company is great.
Jack Tripper was one of the all-time great characters of comedy. One of my favorite episodes of that was when
He was great at slapstick.
Yeah, he's got to fly the plane, and he's nervous about it. And Larry gives him some like tranquilizers or something, and he gets to this place, and I think he's got to go with Janet for something. And it's like a little party, and he is just like off it. He looks at some older lady that's there, and they're dancing. He looks at the woman and says, "Strut with me, mama," and he's just like Jack Ripper. John Ritter,
Mr. Furley.
Oh gosh, he broke the fourth wall, didn't he, Kyle?
Huh?
The Ropers, when he looked at the camera after he made a joke.
Oh yes, constantly, yes. Early fourth wall breaking.
Yeah, and then John Ritter goes on to do the ill-fated spinoff of Three's Company, Three's a Crowd.
I never knew there was a spinoff of Three's Company.
You didn't? They set it up on the finale of Three's Company.
No.
He met a stewardess, and he ends up he's getting married to her, and then he goes to run his own restaurant, and she's in it, and her dad is like not approving of him at all, and they've got this chef that works at his restaurant with him. He's like the surfer guy he talks like a gnarly dude and all this stuff. Yeah, it was not good. It was not good. But yeah, I don't know. You guys remember the last show Ritter did, the 8 Simple Rules?
Ever dated my teenage daughter, yeah.
That was so freaking hilarious. I love that show.
Go ahead.
The son, he was so funny. And then you had Kaylee, I can't ever say her last name, Cuoco from
Cuoco.
Big Bang Theory. She was on there. The daughters were pretty nice to look at. And then you got Peg Bundy as his wife. So yeah, that was an awesome show.
Yeah. Never watched it. I was a big fan of him in Sling Blade.
Billy Bob Thornton? We talking about? John Ritter?
John Ritter.
He played a gay guy.
He was the gay guy. He was that ran the dollar store that was the mom's best friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't you remember Carl talking to him? The Bible says one man ought not lay with another man, but I don't believe God would send a man like you to Hades.
Not funny, ha. Yeah, that was an awesome movie there, Sling Blade. But yeah, John Ritter, that show, the little guy, you got to watch it and just pay attention to the son on that, because he says some things that his dry sense of humor, and he's not trying hard to be funny, and he comes off. Gosh, I don't know if he ever did another show again, but it was great. Gosh, what else you want to talk about, Matt? I'm sure we're keeping your wife and everybody in the hotel room up right now.
Oh yeah. I think they're ready to kill me here. I think I think my son's got to go to bed for a baseball game here.
Yeah, if we get blamed for Chase's team losing tomorrow,
I'm definitely blaming on you guys if that happens. But no, man, that was fun, man. I enjoyed it. I could go on all night talking about this stuff, shows and movies and all that. But
we'll have you on. We'll have you and Kyle on, and we'll do a Outsiders, like a review of the Outsiders, because I'm sure all of us. I don't know about Kyle, how much you know the lines of that movie. I could probably do.
I mean, stay strong, pony boy. That's about all I got.
Stay strong.
Stay golden.
Cold.
Stay golden. Stay golden.
Jeez.
Been a while since I watched The Outsiders.
Yeah, we'll get Matt back on the fly and do some pop culture stuff, movies, stuff like that. So, like his favorite movies, TV shows. Talk about that. How about that?
Sounds good, man. That sounds good.
All right, guys, that is going to do it. And we thank Matt for taking time out of his busy schedule coming in here, and we definitely wish Chase the best of luck tomorrow, and hope we didn't keep him up too late and affect this game tomorrow. But
appreciate that, man.
Just if the scouts look at you and say, "Hey, dude, we still want you," but just say it's Stevie and Kyle's fault that I played bad today. But anyway, that's going to do it for this week, guys. Thank Matt, thank Kyle for joining in. And
Thanks,
like we said, prayers are with Kyle tomorrow, that everything goes well with his surgery, and we know everything's going to go well, Kyle. Even though you're muted right now, you're probably not listening to us.
Nah, I appreciate it, Stevie. I'm listening.
All right. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time on The Final Score.